With dementia, speech can often become disordered, mixed up and disjointed. There's many reasons for this. It could be because of the confusion of dementia. It could be because they've lost confidence in speaking and lost confidence in getting the grammar right and getting the vocab organised. And then, of course, stress. It's very stressful coming into a dementia unit, so anxiety and depression come into play, which also affects communication. So there's many aspects that play on the fact of a person's speech becoming limited and the confidence to speak. So that's why it's important with the person in the dementia facility to have someone that's prepared to sit with them and give them the time to understand, to have the patience and the tolerance to sit down and listen to them. And it does take time. It definitely takes time. It's not an easy thing. But if you're prepared to sit there and try and work out what it is that they're trying to say. Now, to be able to do that, you need to be as informed as you can be about the person's life in the past. That also makes a big difference. So if you're a family member, the son or daughter, of course, you'll know your mother's history, which is a great help. But if you're a staff member, a carer, or an activity coordinator, it's really important to try and garner and gather as much information as you can about the person. They may be in the clinical notes, they may be in the activity coordinator's assessment, which goes into intellectual, social, behavioural and physical aspects. That's a big assessment which you can read up on. So the more you know about the person, the more you're likely to be able to connect in with them and understand what it is that they're trying to say. Now, another thing is that if they're really anxious and or very depressed, it's important to try and reduce that anxiety or lift that depression and get the person back to a stable mood. Because when they're in a good mood, they're much more likely to communicate than if they're in a bad mood or a stressed mood or a depressed mood. So if they're depressed, do that. If you're the daughter, for example, do that which you know lifts the spirits of your mother. So if you know that she loves seeing the grandchildren, bring the grandchildren in to the dementia unit for a visit, and that may well lift her spirits. Or it could be that you know she loves going out to the park to see the ducks and the daffodils, especially with the grandchildren. So you can make an all-out Sunday effort and do that. Now, when she's relaxed with the ducks and the daffodils and the little children, you'll find often that their speech does come back in part. In fact, I've witnessed this myself, that dementia residents, the elderly women, love being with little children, and little children can't speak immaculately. So there's no reserve or caution or embarrassment from the dementia residents' perspective as to how they should speak. They're not thinking, am I saying the right thing? Will I be understood? You know, how's this person going to take what I'm saying? Am I saying the right thing or the wrong thing? All those things go with children, because the children are just babbling away, chatting away. Half of it makes sense, half of it doesn't. So they're not going to be concerned as to what Granny says. So she can be free. She can just be free to speak as she wishes to speak, and the children will love it, because a lovely, happy, smiling granny. Every child likes a happy, smiling granny. And if she can chat away to them, it's good, because it gets the vocal cords going, you know, the larynx warmed up, the cognition going, the whole mechanics of speech is starting to formulate and be exercised as she's chatting away to the children. So after that, when she's warmed up, both with the cognition and with the vocal ability, she can often just carry on chatting to you, or you can encourage that with her. You know, how did you enjoy that, Mum? Oh, it was lovely, dear. I mean, those lovely statements come out the easiest, don't they? It was a beautiful day, happy time. So that's the start of it. That's all you want. You just want some good, clear statements which you can understand, which she can hear is coming out clearly, which gives her the confidence to then go on to the next thing. So children play a big part in helping with speech with dementia residents, and it's important that they do have time with children, because it brings them such happiness and joy seeing children, whether in the dementia unit or going out of the unit. And often they don't get time to spend time with children, but if they can, they love it. And that's why Christmas is the, much appreciated, hallowed event of the year, because that is the time that dementia residents get to go out with their family, and everyone will be there on Christmas Day, grandchildren, children, everybody. So to have a whole Christmas Day with the grandchildren, it is such a lift to the spirits. And you notice that when the dementia residents come back after Christmas Day, the whole unit is alive. Completely different atmosphere. People have been out, they've been with their family, they've been communicating, they're happy, they're buoyant, they've got news to bring back into the unit. It's a fantastic experience. And I always think if this could be done just once a season even for the dementia resident, it would make a big difference to their quality of life, and to be able to keep in touch with their family throughout the year, rather than just the once a year at Christmas, which is really not enough to sustain the person right through. So it really is worth working on this understanding and communication of speech with dementia residents. And even though it does take time, if everyone can be on the same wavelength with mother, say, in the dementia unit in terms of communication, then she's not getting bombarded with a whole lot of different aspects. So for example, if your mother's asked after Christmas Day, she's seen the children, and if she's said, oh, it was lovely to see the children, and she likes to see the children, and if you're unable to bring them into the dementia unit for whatever reason, bring in a photo album of the children and saying, this is Susie that you saw on Christmas Day, and this is Sam, and connecting in with the children that she's seen on Christmas Day in the photo album, and being able to discuss all of that. Or, for example, if your mother asks you when she goes to visit you on the farm, and then you phone up, or you come the next time you visit, she says, how's the water or the rain on the farm? Having been on the farm, she knows how important rain is. And then that that's a good topic of conversation with your mother. The farm, the weather, the seasons, the sunshine, the Southern Alps and the snow. You can talk about that, the weather and the effect of the weather on the farming community and on the life of the general Joe citizen for a long time. So not to just bring up a topic of conversation that is of interest to you, though well it might be, but making sure that the topic of conversation is of primary interest to the dementia resident themselves. And then if it is, they will make the effort to extend themselves and bring themselves out of that dementia silence, to come forward and garner that confidence to communicate and think of the right words, and use that cognition and effort to bring about the grammar and the formulation of sentences. And it takes a lot of cognition. If you've been silent for a month or more and then you start to speak, you realize pretty quickly that you've forgotten a lot of what you used to say and how you used to say it. So it takes a bit of confidence to regarner. And if we encourage the people to communicate, then that will inspire their confidence. They will feel more motivated to speak when you encourage them, and give them praise when they make that effort and are able to say something of value, or even if it's not of value, if they've been able to speak and communicate with warm, good feelings, you in a responding manner appreciate and praise them for all their efforts and their marvellous attentiveness. And Mum, it's great that you're making this effort. Like, I know it's hard, I know it's a bit difficult, but we all appreciate it. It's great to hear you speak so we can converse and communicate and have a nice time. And you can also communicate with the grandkids, and they're getting to know their granny, which is very important. So I've written these 2 books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, both on Amazon and my website, pietavalentine.com. So thank you for your interest, your likes and your subscriptions. Thank you.